What is up, YouTube? Ruckus Reacts. Back for another video. This one, I think I've mentioned before in the previous videos that obviously I'm a boxing fan. I did boxing growing up. And Tommy Morrison was one of my favorite boxers. Not just because he was in the Rocky films, but, well, he was in one, Rocky 5. Well, he was actually a badass boxer. Wicked knockout power. Unfortunately, his boxing career was cut a little bit short, but yeah, this is the video I'm going to be reacting to first, called The Darkest Secret in Boxing History. Not really sure what it is. Something to do with Tommy. I think I have an idea about what the darkest secret part is, but we'll get into that. Let's check it out.
To all my young fans out there, I'd ask that you no longer see me as a role model, but see me as an individual that had the opportunity to be a role model and blew it and blew it and blew it.
Yeah, he blew it all right.
Meet Tommy Morrison, the most popular kid in school. Captain of every sports team he entered, adored by hundreds of friends, and especially the females.
Big talker. He's not all show. He's really, I mean, he even looks like the guy next door.
Although he was only in his mid-teens, he was already a famous face in his small county of Delaware. His father, Tim, was a boxer, just like his father before him, and just like his old man before him. In fact, the Morrison name is one that has been recognized in the local area for close to 100 years.
He's too strong, eh? He's a very good man. And all the Morrisons, I know everybody, and they're just too strong, too big, eh?
Known for their charming looks and muscular physique, they use their natural builds to compete in damn near every tough man boxing contest in Southern America, and young Tommy was no exception. The only difference between Tommy and his forefathers was, in these clips you're looking at, he's only 13 years old. And while many years below the legal limit to fight, he was so incredibly advanced for his age, he forged a fake ID just to compete. And quite frankly, went on to destroy men that were twice his age.
That's all I do is boxing. I go to bed thinking about it, and I wake up thinking about it.
Outside of his athletic ability, Tommy was also a bright pupil and was left in a predicament once graduation approached. He had the choice of pursuing an academic career or following in his father's footsteps as a boxer. A hard decision to make for many, but an easy one for Tommy.
I'm Tommy the Duke Morrison, a heavyweight with 24 knockouts, and I'm going to the top.
During the mid to late 80s, boxing had entered a golden age. Mike Tyson was the most feared man on the planet. Elite contenders were starting to rise in Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. The Rocky movies had taken the film world by storm, and everyone and their grandmother had a poster of Sylvester Stallone on their bedroom wall. Truly an incredible time for the fighting art.
Want to ring the bell?
All right. Ding, ding.
We're underway. And the pace is up-tempo right at the opening bell.
And behind every great professional is a great amateur. And while Tyson was obliterating top contenders in the pro
love
ranks,
Mike
a stocky
Tyson
white kid with a
too.
mullet
That's my
was doing
boy.
a similar job with the head guards on.
Well, it's simple. Oh, man. I was just going to say, it's simple. He hits you with the left hook, you're gone.
From 1985 to 1988, Tommy had amassed a huge record of 290 wins with 21 losses and a staggering 263 knockouts. An outrageous puncher's record. And while
That's fucking insane. Like, to have a record like that. What was that again?
290 wins with 21 losses and a staggering 206.
If you're, I mean, obviously, if you're a boxing fan, you know that records aren't like what they used to be. Well, people used to rack up hundreds and hundreds of fights before. Not these days. Like, I mean, you're considered one of the greats if you're like 50 wins. You know, Floyd Mayweather got 50 wins, 51 wins, no losses, whatever. I mean, that's considered one of the greats. Just on this dude's amateur record. 290 wins, 21 losses, 263 knockouts. That's fucking wild.
63 knockouts, an outrageous puncher's record, and while most were
Oh,
against
white
other
boy
local
at
fighters in
that.
the Delaware area, he did eventually make his way to the big leagues when he competed in the Seoul Olympic trials, infamously losing a narrow decision to rising star and later rival Merciless Ray Mercer, who ended up proving himself as the cream of the crop as he captured the gold medal just a few months later.
Well, the way things are going right now, it's hard telling who's going to be the next heavyweight champion of the world. But I tell you what, I will be a heavyweight champion of the world. So boxing fans, watch out.
Yeah, Ray Mercer was a bad dude too.
Despite having a large fan base before his pro career had even begun, Tommy remained grounded with an attitude to gradually fight his way to the top.
My main goal in life is to be able to take care of my parents. You know, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here to start with.
He made his debut on a small hall event in New York, scoring a first-round knockout. And from here on, it was very clear that Tommy was a special power puncher, particularly with the left hook, as he was known for being able to close the distance in an instant with a fast, leaping left hand.
Curry at 227 pounds.
Beast mode.
Another first-round knockout for Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Damn.
It wasn't long before ESPN came knocking at the door asking for Tommy to feature on Tuesday Night Fights, a great platform for any young fighter looking to build a fan base while still taking on slightly lower journeymen in their division.
That's going to make me basically a household name. That's going to make people take me as a real fighter.
Of course, Morrison jumped at the chance and was soon matched up with the 19-6 Jesse Shelby on August 22nd,
And
1989.
this is kind of a crossroads fight for Jesse Shelby. Big man on the ropes here, getting the best of it. Jesse Shelby in trouble. Yes, early. He lost to the Olympic trials. A big right hand followed up on the left by Morrison, and Shelby, I don't think he's going to let it go on, no. And Tommy Morrison remains unbeaten.
Yeah, the guy seemed like I was just a step off, you know, the first part through the first round and second round. But once I got adjusted to it, I think things went my way. I'd like to thank ESPN and Top Rank for having me here.
Okay, a quick report card from Bill Caton after 15 fights. What do you see, Bill?
I think Tommy is on his way. He's still learning, but he's improving from fight to fight.
Soon after the bout, Frank Stallone recalled his brother Sylvester was looking for a young, muscular athlete to play the character Tommy Gunn in the latest upcoming Rocky movie.
Yes, early. He lost in the Olympic trials. A big right hand followed up on the left.
After witnessing Morrison on Tuesday Night Fights, he quickly informed his brother that this young power puncher from Oklahoma might just be the guy he's looking for.
A movie producer heard about Tommy and decided that since his granduncle was John Wayne, that acting as well as fighting was in his blood.
Less than a week later, they had already begun filming.
Yes. Knockout.
Despite the movie arguably being the worst in the series, Tommy received praise from many critics due to the fact he had never acted in any sort of capacity beforehand and did a relatively good job in bringing Tommy Gunn to life.
Okay, so which will it be? Will you go for the acting career or will you go for the heavyweight championship?
Well, I'm going to get the heavyweight championship first, and then we'll work on the other.
However, acting wasn't Tommy's forte. He was a boxer, and now with a brand new younger fan base, he couldn't wait to get back in the ring and continue his road to the title.
There's a big left hook.
I got a job to do, and I plan on doing it quickly.
There's Al with a crushing blow.
Tommy has a hell of a left
Jesus.
hook. He's got a great left hook. Period. End of paragraph.
Fight after fight, knockout after knockout, the now 22-year-old Morrison couldn't put a foot wrong. He blasted out many of the same faces Mike Tyson did a couple years prior. The former world champion Pinklin Thomas
That
couldn't make
record
it past
stack.
one round. The tricky slickster James Quick Tillis met the same fate a month prior. Steve Zowski, Lorenzo Boyd, and David Jacko were others Tyson faced and Tommy had steamrolled.
There's a left hand. Jake goes down and probably out.
The big fight was on the tip of everyone's tongue. Tommy Morrison versus Mike Tyson.
Boxing Big Shot.
Oh my God. That was the matchup of history that never got to happen. I mean, I'm sure all you know, if you're boxing fans, why, but like that was the dream fight and it never got to happen. Sucks, but
Bill Caton is grooming Tommy for a shot at heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, and it could be the grudge match of the century.
The style clash was undoubtedly going to gel well for the fans. Both were undefeated and both were big knockout punchers. And it certainly wasn't an idea Tommy was shying away from.
A lot of people are pretty satisfied with saying, hey, I fought for the heavyweight championship of the world. We don't want to fight for it. We want to fight for it and win it. If he's there when I get there, well, then he'll have to be removed.
Just before the Morrison and Tyson fight came into fruition, Buster Douglas shocked the world with a historic upset over the seemingly unbeatable Tyson.
Landing these. Oh, nice uppercuts by Buster Douglas. He's not Mike Tyson down. He's not gonna make it.
Yeah, it was a rough watch.
Almost 30 years has passed since that night in Tokyo, and still to this day, it's regarded as the biggest upset, not just in boxing, but in world sports history.
In boxing, you never know what to expect. I mean, and if you don't believe me, you can ask Mike Tyson.
A few months later, Tommy entered the most significant bout of his career, Repeat or Revenge, Morrison versus Mercer 2. On the line, the WBO Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Ray, I'm ready.
3 years on from their clash in the Olympic trials, Tommy had a chance to set things straight as he matched up in a widely speculated 50-50 showdown with now 17-0 professional Ray Mercer.
No mercy.
Mercer had shown a lot in the way of promise himself during the build-up to this contest. Not quite the flashy power puncher like Morrison, but a rough and tough resilient brawler nevertheless.
It could end in this round. It's over now. It's over, Al. It's over.
Damn.
And here's the big one. That was the one to put him to sleep.
And that's the one
more. Oh.
Almost hit the ref.
Tommy Morrison belongs in boxing. Ray Mercer is the WBO heavyweight champion. Careful early. Tommy starts very fast. He has a lot to prove, and he'll try to do that in a quick fashion. Ray Mercer defending his title.
Opening, neither a defensive whiz, so you know there will be openings.
Take Morrison out of it. Get that referee set.
Big shots by Morrison. Great chin. You have to make him quit. And so far, it has been Morrison in the first 2 rounds.
Morrison was in the greatest shape of his career. The timing and speed of his combos during the first 2 rounds were breathtaking. Mercer was known for having a chin of iron, but to walk through the onslaught of Tommy shots the way he did elevated everyone's respect.
Right on it.
3rd round, Morrison teeing off on Mercer.
Take so many shots.
And now Mercer puts a couple of rights together. Remember, he left Morrison with a right hand as a gift to end the 3rd round.
By the end of the 4th round, Tommy's mouth was wide open. Struggling to breathe, his game plan was obviously to blast Mercer out inside 3. And in retrospect, it was a huge oversight considering the strength he possessed.
Mercer made him pay for it.
As in his 27th.
Yeah.
Mercer pounding away.
Yeah.
Morrison may be going. Morrison is gone.
Here he is just connecting with shots, unanswered punches, out on his feet and hurt is Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch, man. I knew where this one was going. I forgot it was Ray Mercer who did that to him, but that was one of the worst knockouts in boxing history. He getting stuck on the ropes like that, just taking blow after blow. Put him down like a dog.
A lot of shots from merciless Ray Mercer.
The loss was a tough one to swallow, and Tommy went from the hottest prospect in world boxing to a man with a gray and bleak future. After all, if he couldn't beat Ray Mercer, the weakest regarded champion in the division, how on earth could he compete with the likes of Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson?
After the Mercer fight, I took about probably 3 months off, stayed completely away from the gym, kind of did a little bit of soul searching.
Perhaps the old cliche of the great...
3 months off back then was a lot. Because, I mean, obviously, the only way you accumulate records like that, hundreds of fights, is by fighting multiple times a month sometimes. Like, they don't even let you do that anymore. I think you're only allowed to fight like once per month or one. I mean, I don't know. The rules vary, but yeah, 3 months off back then was a lot. 3 months off now is typical. People fight like a couple times a year now.
White hope would surround Tommy's name from here on out. But then, over the next few months, a surprising revelation surfaced.
We had friends at the bars in Westport, and they call us up at midnight, 1 o'clock, and say, hey, you better come and get your boy. He's laid passed down on the floor. You might want to come and get him before the media gets here. So we'd run down and pick him up and throw him in the back of a pickup truck and carry him home.
Tommy surrounded himself with the wrong people. He was already deep into a vicious cycle of heavy drinking, drug taking, and by all accounts of the people close to him, nymphomania.
Tommy was a constant womanizer.
He was such a natural athlete that even after years of self-abuse, the lifestyle never appeared to catch up to him in the ring, by the untrained eye at least. However, this guy didn't have supernatural powers. The partying was later revealed to be far worse than first thought. This wasn't just a weekend binge situation. This was an every night thing.
I never was thought of as a bully. I was always liked by everybody, and I like to be liked by everybody. I'm willing to get along with anybody that wants to get along with me.
Despite Tommy losing that reputation as a role model that he once loved to embrace, the partying went on like before. Only this time, he was consistently fighting at a higher level in between, so bouts that he would easily win as a sober man became just that bit harder.
And Tommy Morrison summons some power today, and it saves him in the ninth round.
I think I learned a lot from this. Joe Hip is one of the hardest punches I've ever fought. I look at it as a plus. I got hit a little bit too much. Defense is something that we felt like we always had to work on, something that hasn't been a secret, so we're real happy about it.
Well, you came through it, Tommy, with a late round knockout. Congratulations to you. Thanks very much for talking to us.
I forgot he fought George Foreman.
Williams is already busted up. And Mills Lane has stopped the fight.
Another dramatic power punching comeback for Tommy Morrison.
After defeating Carl the Truth Williams in January
Good
1993,
shot.
Tommy put himself in line for a lucrative title shot against the immovable object that is Big George Foreman.
Probably didn't have the greatest training habits in the world, but I've matured as an athlete, feel very comfortable with where I'm at, and this time I feel like I belong here.
Yeah, he's probably all the things he's got going for him, better for him. And then I've got a few things going for me, mostly 256 pounds. I'm going to use those pounds, too.
Foreman was midway through his comeback after 10 years away from the sport. He obviously wasn't considered to be the threat he was in the mid-70s. Still, there was no denying the big man could take an almighty punch.
Well, his arms do seem to be getting a little heavy.
Oh, double rush combination. Staggered. Holyfield has staggered Foreman.
And as his recent outing suggests, deliver one at its highest order as well.
What a knockout. This guy can punch. Man, he can punch.
He's got a lot of experience, he's got a lot of weight, and he's got a lot of age. And I've got to try to counterbalance that with youth, speed, and athletic ability.
The number 2 ranked heavyweight in the world, Tommy the Duke
Despite Big George being the 7-5 betting favorite, June 7th, 1996 became the glowing highlight of Morrison's career. From the opening round, he made the older man look ancient as he carefully maneuvered around the ring, evading the slow but dangerous attacks. His defensive prowess complemented his razor-sharp combination counters as he never gave Foreman a millisecond to recuperate from his hits.
Morrison breathing with his mouth open as we begin round. Damage, there it is again. And
tremendous left hook by Tommy Morrison.
Low blow from Foreman and a good left hook by Morrison.
2 good left hooks by Tommy Morrison, and George didn't move.
Dog fight.
Big right hand from Morrison and a left hand. That's a little better, a right hand behind the left hook. Fight is over here. It begins in July.
Hook by Tommy Morrison, combination.
Time! He's calling time again. And a bell sounds, ending the fight. I thought Tommy Morrison fought a very intelligent fight, stuck with his plan, and I think he deserves full credit for a victory I expect he's going to get.
Jerry Roth scored.
To go the distance, go a full 12 rounds with the giant, George Foreman, that's an accomplishment, win or lose. George Foreman was a fucking beast.
Scores the bout 118 to 109 for the winner and new champion, Tommy the Duke Morrison. Morrison.
Got him.
Once Morrison became world champion, notable changes in his appearance and performance became apparent to all. Within just an 18-month period, he appeared to age by 5 or 6 years, slightly losing his boyish looks and muscular physique along the way. He also no longer possessed those fast-twitch muscle fibers from before. The power remained, but Tommy relied on his speed just as much as his strength, which inevitably resulted in some shocking losses and one-sided beatdowns. Despite the poor run of form, promotional superstar Don King stepped in and offered Morrison a life-changing retirement package. 3 fights, $10 million with a guarantee of a Mike Tyson showdown to end it all.
Take that.
A very lucky out, to put it lightly.
I'll lose every time for that.
Accepts the contract. We're ready to have the warm-up.
Arthur Stormy Weathers was the first man penciled in for Tommy, a low-level journeyman with little to no chance in causing an upset. Nothing more than a tune-up to get the ball rolling for Morrison's comeback. But in the days leading up to the bout, an unusual headline surfaced.
Tommy Morrison was supposed to fight tonight in Las Vegas, but the Duke was KO'd by the Nevada Athletic Commission just hours before his scheduled bout with Arthur Weathers. Morrison suspended worldwide for medical reasons.
Tommy's reasons for avoiding the blood test just didn't make sense. He claimed he was scared of needles, but every boxer knows that excuse simply won't be enough to avoid such a key and important part of the sport.
Yep.
Take your freaking blood test.
Well, you told me not to do anything unless you were here. You know, Don wanted me to do it. I said, Tommy, take your blood test. That's for the commission.
Morrison had no choice but to take the test or be stripped of his license. And for his love of the game and faith in God, he took the test, knowing full well the results could end his career and perhaps even his livelihood.
Yeah. I've taken the action to have more extensive tests run. And I was informed just a little while ago that those tests do in fact confirm that I have tested positive for the HIV virus.
Morrison was subsequently suspended from the sport. Having the HIV virus in any sort of combat sport runs a huge risk of transmission.
Still gives me chills, makes my hair stand up every time because I knew that was coming. Sucks too, like, you know, cuts career short, kind of like Eazy-E. He was blowing up and became a womanizer, caught HIV, and done. Career's done. Life's over. It's a sad story, man.
Blood and saliva often trade places during a bout, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission made the right decision in instantly revoking his license. But was it something that they should have done sooner? Perhaps 7 years sooner to be more precise, dating right back to the days and months in which he first turned professional.
And then it announced that he could not pass his physical, and I knew what it was. We had talked about this before.
Talked about what?
The HIV.
He knew before?
He suspicioned.
Morrison's own mother admitted that Tommy knew to some degree he had the virus long before failing the test in 1996.
Shit, I didn't know
and in
that.
2016, court papers were released suggesting Tommy had been diagnosed HIV positive all the way back in 1989. When Morrison's ex-wife, Dawn Brady, was questioned for the upcoming lawsuit in a sworn deposition, she said that he had told her in 2000 that he tested positive for HIV in 1989 when he got checked out as part of a screening for a life insurance policy. Morrison confirmed this himself when he went into rehab in 1999, and the counselor doing his intake wrote that he claims that he was first told he was HIV positive in 1989. We do have to add that the claims made are alleged, but the amount of evidence to suggest he was hiding the virus for many years is overwhelming. Once Morrison contracted the virus, his whole life changed. The town, where he was once known as a hero, turned their back on him. Most of his close friends never even bothered to offer some sort of sympathy. He was alone and scared.
My first reaction was, what are people going to think? You know, I mean, here I am, supposed to be a big, tough guy, and I think I walked around in life thinking that I was bulletproof, and now I got to pay the ultimate price.
Shortly after his public press conference, Lakers legend and 5-time NBA champion Magic Johnson contacted Morrison to try and help him through this hard time and offered him some valuable advice.
That's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. We just did the mixtape on Magic the other day. We're talking about how he had HIV as well. It's funny it came up in this. Again, not funny, but funny.
Johnson, as I'm sure many of you are aware, contracted the virus himself just a few years prior to this incident, and had since become a main advocate in spreading awareness of the deadly virus.
I will now become a spokesman for the HIV virus.
Morrison quickly teamed up with the former basketball star, where together they toured the country sharing their
shit.
stories with as many ears and eyes as they could reach. Initially, their recovery went great. Tommy had a lead HIV specialist doctor nursing his health. He took his pills regularly and began transforming his broken and weak body back to full fitness. That was until he met his soon-to-be wife, Trisha, in the late 2000s.
He couldn't talk to people. His wife wouldn't let anybody near him.
Tommy had convinced himself and others around him that he didn't just no longer have AIDS, but he never had the virus in the first place. The former champ gave up his prescribed medicine for marijuana and other street drugs such as cocaine and methamphetamine. In doing so, his health rapidly deteriorated, and by the summer of 2010, he was barely recognizable. In this picture, he was just 40 years old.
Oh my God. They say he was 40 years old in that pic. It looks like he's in his 60s. I'm about to be 34 this year. That's what drugs do. Stay away from drugs, kids.
After a string of health complications over the next couple of years, Morrison finally passed away on September 1st, 2013, due to multiple organ failure and a cardiac arrest. He was only 44 years old.
Oh my God.
There are still so many unanswered questions surrounding Tommy's life and death. Like, when did he contract the virus? How did he contract the virus? Why did he give up on recovery? Sadly, it seems unlikely that we'll ever definitively know the answers. I do think it's worth pointing out that after a lot of research, I was unable to find a story of a Morrison lover or ring sharer who ever contracted the virus as a direct result of himself. His 3 ex-wives and 2 sons all live healthy lives to this day, with Trey and Kenzie both following in their father's footsteps as professional boxers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And for those of you that just stumbled across this channel for the first time, feel free to check back through our content for similar videos. Until next time, fight fans, this is Boxing Legends TV, signing off.
He lost the Olympic trials, a big right hand.
Oh, I like being picked by everybody. I'm willing to get along with anybody that wants to get along with me.
Down with a crushing blow.
He was actually whooping my ass for 3 rounds. I mean, he hit me harder than I've ever been hit before for 3 rounds.
If he gets up, I'll be the most surprised person in the Coliseum.
Damn. Yep. That sucks. Really sucks. So, yep. There you have it. Darkest secret in boxing history. I mean, I was thinking the darkest secret part was going to be the fact that he had the HIV, because I knew that he caught HIV, but I don't know if the darkest secret part is the fact that he knew ahead of time and kept it from everybody. But it's good to learn that nobody contracted it, none that they knew of. But yeah, that's yeah, tough story. Nice little documentary though by Boxing Legends TV. That's who put the video out. Probably do another Tommy Morrison video at some point, maybe another more like in-depth documentary of his upbringing and stuff. I mean, not that this one wasn't good, but I'm sure we could probably find a decent one. I mean, yeah, sucks. He was one of my favorite boxers. Tyson will always be my favorite though, but that fight, that would have been a badass fight, man. That's the fight, the greatest fight that never happened. Shitty. Sucks. But just goes to show, like, all the hard work that you put into something like being a boxer, or it doesn't matter what it is, put all that time and effort, dedication in, and just not taking care of your health, not taking care of your life, doing drugs, drinking, unprotected sex, all these different women. HIV stumbles in and bam, it's over. Everything's over for you. Take care of yourself, especially the older you get, but health gotta come first. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed, and yeah, catch you on the next one. Ruckus Reacts. Deuces.